Hey, it's John. Welcome back to the show and welcome to my favorite 10 songs from 1999. This is a show I like to do as a companion to my appearance on the panel show on Grant's Rock Warehouse, where several of us will discuss our favorite 10 songs from a particular year. I will not be able to make this show for 1999. That's going to air on Monday, February 9, 2026. I'm going to put this out the day before on Super Bowl Sunday here in the States. I'm going to premiere it at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. So if you need some levity from the 6 hours of fluff before the big game, you can watch the premiere or watch this anytime at your leisure on YouTube. 10 favorite songs from 1999. I also like to give honorable mentions. In this case, I'm going to give 20 honorable mentions. Let's get started. My number 10 is a band that I was into a lot in the 90s and 2000s. I don't listen to them much anymore, but I have a lot of great memories of this song and my friend Frank Temerantz. And I just haven't seen him in a long time. Frank, if you're out there, if you're watching, I hope you're doing great. This is from Dream Theater. The song I'm going with is Strange Deja Vu. Mentioned Frank here because Frank was really heavy in the Dream Theater at this point, to the point where he would sing Strange Deja Vu at karaoke, where we would go to some bars in Northeast Pennsylvania. We also went to see Dream Theater on this tour. They played up at the Bud Light Amphitheater in Harveys Lake, Pennsylvania, which at that time was maybe 8 miles from my apartment and is now they tore it down a bunch of years ago, but if it was still standing, it'd be 4 miles from my house. So Strange Deja Vu is an excellent track from this very strong album. James LaBrie sounds fantastic on lead vocals. We got this great prog rock meets highly melodic rock on here. The bridge on here, both lyrically and musically, is wonderful. Dream Theater, fantastic musicians. They were fantastic that night when we saw them at Bud Light Amphitheater. They were in the opening slot. Emerson, Lake, and Palmer came on second, the only time I ever saw them. And right after that, they broke up. And Deep Purple were the last band on that night. So, but Dream Theater really kicked that night, as does this song. My number 10 is Strange Deja Vu from the album Scenes from a Memory. Number 9 is probably one of my favorite groups of my lifetime. I don't get a chance to talk about much. Their catalog as a band was very, very sporadic, although the individual members made a lot of great music. This is Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young from their album Looking Forward. The song I'm going with is Dream for Him. Now, the latter day albums from Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, from like American Dream forward, not really high on them, but they all have like some really sterling tracks. Dream for Him to me is the highlight. This is one of David Crosby's songs. And I would say if you take the band's catalog, I'm probably a bigger fan of David's songs than any others. And I love his solo albums, particularly the ones he did in the last 10 years of his life. I think they are tremendous. And one day I'm going to do ranking the albums on David Crosby. Dream for Him, I think, is one of the few standouts on this album. The album's okay, but Dream for Him, I think, is classic CSNY. I love the delivery on here. I love the feel. I love David's vocal. I love the harmonies in the bridge. The bridge is wonderful. And this is a song that David liked to do live with his solo band as well. But wonderful track. My number 9 is Dream for Him from Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. My number 8 is a band I've talked about extensively here on John the Music Nuts. Did a weekly series on them. I love this band's music to this day. This is the Smithereens from God Save the Smithereens. And the song I'm going with is I Believe. I saw the Smithereens 6 times live, 5 while Pat Denizio was still alive. Rest in peace, Pat. One of the best songwriters of my lifetime. I will always stand by that. I Believe is more like a power pop song, and it's just wicked. This album has got a lot of different moods on it. You got some songs that are really heavy. You got some songs that are like more Baroque pop, more jazz. But this, I believe, is like power pop perfection to me. I was privileged to see them open with this song on one of those 6 shows that I saw with the Smithereens, and I couldn't believe they opened with it. It was magnificent. It was a great show that night too. I remember saying to my friends, I can't believe they're opening to this. You're like, what are you talking about? I go, they never do this song live. It was the only time I saw them do it live. I Believe it's a wonderful song. It's just so catchy. Hooks galore on it. Wonderful track. My number 8 is the Smithereens with I Believe. Number 7, this is a band I talked about a few years ago on my 10 favorite songs. This is Tonic. From the album Sugar, I'm going to go with You Wanted More. The riff in this is so heavy, it sounds more like something a heavy metal band would do. The riff is the catalyst in the verses. The song is about a breakup, whereas their really huge hit, if you could only see, was about a relationship taking bloom, but the people around them don't understand it. Here, this is definitely something that's about a breakup. It's got that kind of feel. It's got a wonderful chorus, which doesn't rock as hard. It's loud verse, soft chorus, which is like If You Can Only See. Got a nice bridge on here as well. Very wonderful track. Really good album, too. This is from Sugar. This is Tonic. And the song You Wanted More. Number 6. This is a band where I did a ranking the albums on. They're going to be coming out with a new album later this year in 2026. This is Black Crowes from their album By Your Side, their 5th album. And I'm going with the opening single, which is Kicking My Heart Around. They chose to go back to rock on this album, and this is a very good album. I think everything they've done is very good. Even Lions. Lions tends to get shit on, but Lions is a good album. Here, the slide guitars sound wonderful. A lot of charisma coming out from Chris Robinson. Really wonderful song. Very, very catchy. And it rocks really hard. This might be their hardest rocking album, although you do have a lot of songs on here that border on soul and R&B, which are really cool. But Kicking My Heart Around was a kick-ass single, and it is my number 6 for 1999 by the Black Crowes. Number 5 this is a band I haven't talked about yet. Won't be the last time I talk about them. Now, I remember this song back in the day. I got more into this band later on. This is Incubus. This is from the album Make Yourself. And I'm going with the really huge hit on this called Drive. Drive, I think, has aged like a fine wine. It is a wonderful song. It doesn't hit as hard as a lot of their other bigger songs. This is more of a post-grunge band, but when they wanted to be melodic and reflective, they could do it in spades. Excellent song. Wonderful pre-chorus and chorus on here. Very, very memorable. And I love the acoustic guitars on here. It is an excellent track. Wonderful album, too. I got to talk more about this band, Incubus. They're excellent. This is my number 5 for Make Yourself, Drive. My number 4 is from the album Number 4. And it's a band I've talked about for their first 3 albums. It's Stone Temple Pilots with their first single from the album, Sour Girl. Wonderful track. Now, this is a change in pace if you listen to the singles and know the more popular songs. This is more acoustic, more of a pop feel on it. Wonderful, dreamy harmonies in the chorus. Fantastic track. Great hook in the riffs in this song as well. It's a wonderful song. Another song like the next few I'm going to talk about have aged so well for me. This is my number 4, Stone Temple Pilots with Sour Girl. Rest in peace, Sandy. Rest in paradise, Sandy. My number 3 is a band that I've seen a few times live, particularly the last couple of years, and they are a wicked live band. And not the first time that I've talked about this band on John the Music Nut. This is Collective Soul from the album Dosage. I'm going with the song Heavy, which was a huge hit on alternative rock radio and regular rock radio. This was not as big a pop hit as World I Know or Shine or anything like that, but this is a very enduring track. Very, very heavy. Another song about relationships, more about the stress in relationships as based on that chorus, but another great bridge on this track, but this is wicked. This is a song they usually do early in their sets when you go to see them live. It's one that gets the crowd really into it, and it's so catchy. I love this song to death. Loved it back in 99 too. This is my number 3, Collective Soul with Heavy. My number 2 is a band I've talked about in 1995 and 1997 as well. This is Foo Fighters from the album Nothing Left to Lose, and I'm going with the track Learn to Fly. Learn to Fly was the first single. Very, very accessible, quiet verses, rousing, joyous chorus. Fantastic. Wonderful track. Another one with a kick-ass bridge in it. The riffs in here are great hooks. Wonderful song. It's not aged one iota. Love it to death. This is Foo Fighters with Learn to Fly. My number 1 was a number 1 single in 1999. This was an album that sold a ton of copies. It was a fantastic marketing move by the record company. And it brought this artist who had sold a lot of albums, had hit singles, had near unanimous respect from music fans like myself. And now he would get 2 number 1 hit singles. I'm talking about Santana from the album Supernatural. This was the first single off the album. This is Smooth. Smooth was written and sung by Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20. This was when Santana started collaborating with more contemporary artists. After this, you saw a lot of other legacy artists doing this because this sold like 15 million copies. It was insane. The album is very long. Half of it, I think, is very, very good, but I'm not going to put it in the 69 to 76 era Santana. To me, that's the sweet spot. That everything they did there was fantastic. But Smooth is fantastic. Wonderful horn lines, great guitar work from Carlos, as always. Very, very catchy song. There's so many great hooks in this song. The chorus, very, very memorable. You can argue this is the best song Rob Thomas ever wrote. He wrote some great ones with Matchbox 20. What I like to say about this album is it gave us the best number 1 hit single of the year in Smooth and the worst number 1 hit single in Maria Maria, which I was never a fan of and I still don't care for it. When I went to see Santana live a few years later, I think it might have been the Shaman tour, they started playing that. I'm like, well, it's time to go to the bathroom. But I stuck around for Smooth, which they were already doing as an encore by that point. One of the best Santana songs, maybe not one of the best albums, but Smooth is wonderful. And as my number 1 for 1999, Santana featuring Rob Thomas with Smooth. Now, let's go over my top 10 again, and then I will give you my 20 honorable mentions. My number 10 is Strange Deja Vu by Dream Theater. My number 9 is Dream for Him by Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. My number 8 is I Believe by the Smithereens. My number 7 is Tonic with You Want It More. My number 6 is Kicking My Heart Around by the Black Crowes. My number 5 is Incubus with Drive. My number 4 is Stone Temple Pilots with Sour Girl. My number 3 is Heavy by Collective Soul. My number 2 is Learn to Fly by Foo Fighters. My number 1 is Smooth by Santana featuring Rob Thomas. Now, let's go to 20 honorables. Before I go into notepad mode and get the glare, let me show you what came close. This came close. Van Morrison, wonderful album. From Back on Top to Philosopher's Stone. Excellent song. Very elegant, great piano lines on here, great harmonica, wonderful. This came close. Buck Cherry from their self-titled album, the single Lit Up. Catchy as sin, great rock and roll, love this song. And this came close. Rakim, the best hip-hop artist, best rapper, in my humble opinion. From his second album, The Master, his second solo album, he made 4 albums with Eric B. and Rakim. I'm going with the song Uplift. Wonderful track, very, very catchy. Now, let's go into the honorables here. Filter with Take a Picture, which sounds nothing like their previous most popular song, Hey Man, Nice Shot. It is wonderful. Metallica with No Leaf Clover. This started a trend where fortunately a short trend, where you had rock bands making albums with orchestras. Wasn't a fan of that trend. However, No Leaf Clover kicks ass, and I think the string section really helps it out. Live from the album The Distance to Here, this was the single, first song, The Dolphins Cry. Wonderful song. Wasp from the album Hell Dorado, which to me was like Wasp trying to sound like Wasp again. One knockout track on here called Damnation Angels. This kicks ass and takes names. Wonderful song. Styx from the album Brave New World. Another album not too hot on. But Heavy Water kicks ass. Love that song. Vertical Horizon. They were a 1-album wonder. I think Anything You Want was a #1 hit. This, I believe, was the first single from the album. I could be wrong, but very, very catchy. You're a God. Wonderful. John Prine is a folk singer-songwriter, a wonderful songwriter. I didn't get into him until about 20 years ago. And I was privileged to go see him about 10 years later at the FM Kirby Center, sitting next to my friend who's passed on, the wonderful Charlie Dugan. The song I'm going with is one that got played a lot at Charlie Dugan's bar, Dugan's Pub, and that is In Spite of Ourselves, with Iris DeMents on that song. Sugar Ray, band started out more like a punk band, and they started going into these pop songs that had this reggae feel to them. Every Morning is wonderful. Love that song. Mike Ness, my brother Robert introduced me to this artist. Hello, Robert. May have been one of the first songs he played for me by Mike Ness. The Devil and Miss Jones. This kicks ass. Love it. Queensryche from the album Q2K. And this is Sacred Ground. At this point, they were going away from the progressive metal. I still like this album quite a bit. Not as much as the early stuff or the later stuff with Todd LaTorre, but still a good album. Sacred Ground kicks butt. Blondie, this was their comeback song. I think it was off their first album in like 17 years, like since The Hunter. The song is Maria. Maria was very, very catchy. Really cool tune. Bush, this was from their third album, and it was maybe it was the first single off the album, The Chemicals Between Us. Really, really cool tune. Stain from the album, I believe it was Dysfunction. This was one of the singles, Mud Shovel. This was a song I only heard really got into in the last few years from listening to Sirius XM Turbo, and now I really, really dig it. Primus from the album Anti-Pop. Electric Uncle Sam, really, really cool too. I love Primus's work from the 90s. Len, I believe this was a one-hit wonder, really pop, big time pop song, really, really sunny. Steal My Sunshine. I just always dug it. And you may remember that sample from it. That sample was from Andrea True Connections, More and More and More. They did a great job using that sample. Red Hot Chili Peppers, a band I've always liked but not never loved. This is from their album Californication. It's the title track. Really, really cool tune. And last but not least, we have Lit with a song that I wasn't really into back in the day. But the last few years, whenever I hear it on Sirius XM Turbo or Lithium or 90s on 9, I really dig it. My Own Worst Enemy. This is a catchy song, very joyous, and I love that riff on there. So there are my honorable mentions. So thank you so much for watching the show. What are your favorite songs from 1999? Do you like any of these songs that I talked about today? Are there other songs by these artists that you like? Please let me know in the comments what your favorite songs are from 1999. Thank you so much for joining me today. Do what you love, and I'll talk to you soon.